All right, we are finishing up another chapter in math. We are finishing the chapter on time and calendars, and so today we are going to be doing the chapter 20 review. So you will need to get that out to do today. It's going to be on page 357 and 358. I am going to do my review page. It's a little different than yours, but we can at least talk through it together so you can see what you're going to be doing on your page. So I'm going to flip it around. Let's see if I can do that. And then like I've been doing, I will show you it up close once I finish doing the sheet. Okay, so there is the math sheet we're doing today. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is the first four, we are just gonna write the time. So we'll need to remember that our shorthand is for the hour and the longer hand is for the minute. And I was talking to Sophia and her mom gave me a good tip for that she had learned that hour is spelled with fewer letters than the word minute. So that's just a good reminder that your hour hand is going to be the shorter hand and that the minute hand is longer because there's more letters in the word minute. So that's a good little trick to remember your hands. But if we look at this clock here, our shorter hand is on the 4, so we know the hour is going to be 4. And then the minutes are going to be where we count by 5 around the edges. And this one is on the 12, and we know that anytime our hands are on the 12 that it's going to be o'clock. So the time on this is 4 o'clock. All right, for number 2, we're going to look for our shorthand, and it is between 4 and 5. Now, if you have a hand that is between two numbers, you have to go to the last hour that it was at, and that's the hour that you're going to write. So if we look between 4 or 5, it has gone past 4, but it has not yet got to 5. So the hour that we need to write is 4, and then the minutes are, it's on the 6. So we're going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 4:30. Anytime your hands are on the 6, that's going to be your half hour, your 30-minute mark. Okay. All right, over here, we've got our shorthand in between the 11 and the 12, which means we need to fall back and look at the 11. So 11 is going to be our hour, and our minute hand is down here on the 6, and we've just learned from our last problem that the 6 means that it is 30 minutes. And number 4, our hour hand, our shorthand, is between the 2 and the 3. That means it's gone past 2, but it hasn't yet got to 3. So our hour is going to be 2. And our minute hand is on the 6. So once again, we're going to count by 5s if we can't remember. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It is 2:30. Okay? All right, now if we look at number 5 and 6, we're going to draw the hour hand to show the elapsed time. So they've already drawn the minute hand for you. They've drawn the minute hand for you, and you've got to draw the correct hour. So this clock wants us to show 1 hour later. So if it is 8 o'clock, we need to show 1 hour later than that. So if we were to go all the way around the clock by hour to the next hour, it would be 9 o'clock. And remember, we're going to draw our shorthand because it's the hour. And the time would be 9 o'clock. On this clock, we have 5 because it's between 5 and 6, but it hasn't yet got to the 6. So the hour is going to be 5, and the minutes are 30. And so if it's 5:30 and we want to do half hour later, half an hour is 30 minutes. So we're going to want to go 30 minutes. So I'm going to count by 5s till I get to 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. If I go to half an hour, it's going to be 6 o'clock. And here's why. This one's tricky. If you are between the 5 and 6 and you get all the way back around up to the 12, you have to move to the next hour because it wouldn't be 5 o'clock. If we left the hour hand the same and said it was 5 o'clock, that wouldn't make this clock right because it's 5:30. We have to move on past that. So the next hour that we would get to would be 6 o'clock. Okay. All right, number 7, circle the time passed. Use the time schedule to answer the question. So for number 7, we have a schedule here of choir practice. Class, this is the grades that come. So grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Here's their start times. Here's their finish time. And we have to circle how much time has passed. Okay, so grade 1, first grade, comes at 1 o'clock and they finish at 2 o'clock. Has 30 minutes passed during their time or 1 hour? Well, if we look at our clock, we've changed the hour place from 1 to 2, and the minutes have stayed the same. So it's going to be 1 hour. Grade 2, second grade, they come at 2 o'clock and they end at 2:30. So our hour hand has not changed. Our minutes have just changed by 30 minutes. So we know that's going to be 30 minutes is how long second grade. And third grade, they start at 3 o'clock and they end at 3:30. So our hour is staying the same. Our minutes are just increasing, getting bigger by 30. So it's going to be 30 minutes. So according to this schedule, first grade has the best time because they get to go to music for 1 hour. They're the best ones out of all those. Down here, it says which grade has the longest practice time, okay? So first grade has 1 hour, second grade has 30 minutes, third grade has 30 minutes. So what time is longer, 1 hour or 30 minutes? It would be 1 hour. So grade 1 has the longest time in choir. And number 9 says, which grade has choir practice last? Okay, so for this one, we've got to look at these times. So first grade comes at 1 o'clock, second grade comes at 2 o'clock, and third grade comes at 3 o'clock. Which of those grades come last during the day? So if we were looking at a schedule, which one of those would come last? It would be grade 3 at 3 o'clock because 3 o'clock on a clock is later than 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. All right, so I'm going to show you this up close so you can see the answers that I did. If you need to pause it so that you can look at them and study them, that's fine too. Okay. All right, let me flip to the back because since this is a review, we might want to do the back side too. So let me prop this back up and flip it over. All right, let's see. Okay, read the story, show the times on the clock, and write the times. Children's choir practice begins at 5 o'clock. Choir practice ends a half hour later. So I've got to draw the beginning time and the ending time. Okay, I always, like I tell you, I like to underline things or circle them because it helps me to figure out what I'm doing. It helps me see things better. So I know that the begin time is 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and do that clock. 5 o'clock means the shorthand for the hour is on the 5. And the longhand for the minutes is on the 12. And the time would be 5 o'clock. Remember, 00, if we're saying it, we would say o'clock. Now it ends, there's our other keyword for our ending clock, half hour later. Now we've talked about that half hour. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So half of an hour is going to be 30 minutes. So the end time would be 5:30. So I'm going to draw my hand for my hour in between the 5 and the 6 because we talked about that. As the hands are moving, they're moving towards the next number that they would be. So it's in between 5 and 6, and the minutes go down to the 30, and the time would be 5:30 for the end time. Okay. Number 11, the evening service at church begins at 7 o'clock. It ends 1 hour later. So I'm going to underline my information. Begins at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to draw 7 with a shorthand because that's my hour. O'clock for the minutes is at the 12. And I'm going to write 7:00 for o'clock. And it ends 1 hour later. So I'm going to go all the way around the clock to the next hour. So the hour after 7 would be 8. So my hour hand is on the 8. My minute hand is on the 12. And the time would be 8 o'clock. All right, last section. Let's look at the calendar down here. All right, number 12, the first direction says to put an X on each Wednesday. So we need to find Wednesday on our calendar, which is here, and we need to put an X on every Wednesday. So I'm going to do that first, X every Wednesday. And I'm going to ask you, how many Wednesdays are in this October? There are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, let's answer some questions. How many days are in this month? All right, days are going to be the last number that you see. So how many days are there in the month of October? There are 31 days, and there are always going to be 31 days in October. That is not going to change. Every year, October is going to have 31 days. What day is October 12th? All right, so I've got to find October 12th on my calendar, which is here, and it wants to know what day is that. So I'm gonna look up here to my days, and October 12th is on a Sunday. So I'm gonna bubble in Sunday. And number 15, on what day does this month end? Okay, so the last date of the month is the 31st, so I've got to see what day that is. And I'm going to look up to the days at the top of the row. That's where my days are, and it is Friday. So I'm going to bubble in Friday. Okay, and I'll put this a little bit closer so you can see it to look at that. All right, so that is a review of chapter 20. You're going to complete that today in the pages that you have, which I said earlier is 357 and 358, and then take a picture and submit those. We will do a, let's see, I think tomorrow we will go ahead and do our Smarty Party. So we will do that on Tuesday, the Smarty Party, okay? And I'll go over directions for that tomorrow in your video. All right, so go ahead and do those review pages and submit that to me. If you have any questions, let me know.